Should the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers stay an anchor in Power Rangers Lightning Collection? Let's talk. Okay, I'll be the first to admit that I was pretty surprised to see Mighty Morphin seemingly dropped for the leaked Wave 8 release in favor of Zeo, because like a lot of people who observe pop culture tropes and toy sales, I'm going to be telling you that the iconic evergreen material will be what always sells. You might be tired of Mighty Morphin, but if it's what gets the greater market to buy more of the toys, then that's always gonna be there. Sure, fans would want them to focus on other brands, but it's never fully gonna go away because as far as Saban and Hasbro are concerned, in the eyes of the world, MMPR is Power Rangers. Evergreen. But really, after all 7 Ranger figures have been revealed, I mean, what else is there to anchor the waves? And that, my friends, is the question. In the recent PulseCon, it has been revealed that Kat is getting a pink Ranger figure, and it's the very first metallic armor Ranger. In a previous video I did, we also talked about how there's a big possibility that Adam is coming in Wave 9 as possibly the metallic armor Black Ranger. Now keep in mind, that was purely still speculation. It might be an educated guess, but still speculation. If true, that leaves 4 more metallic Rangers with Aisha coming in for the first time, and other Rangers with head sculpts previously done that could be adjusted for the new releases. Billy could come without glasses. Rocky could have an entirely new head sculpt because, even Steve Cardenas was complaining about how he just doesn't look like the character, basically. And we also know that Hasbro has a new helmet sculpt at the ready for Red Ranger, which we should eventually see. Now, we've seen several new head sculpts for Tommy, so they could literally very easily make a new one. My guess is this hairstyle. Realistically, they could also release Aisha, Rocky, Adam in basic versions of the Mighty Morphin figures. They could totally do that. Heck, Wave 9 might just even have a basic Adam and not metallic. That's another guess. But is that the end of it? No. Well, I have a full set of the Mighty Morphin movie figures from the Action Hero line, and I would love a full set of them in the Lightning Collection too. In fact, it would be nice if Aisha had her various hairstyles done in each release of her figure, just like what they're doing with Tommy and Zach. With the movie version sporting her iconic textured braided hair. That would be awesome if we had that. It would be really great. But that's not all they could do. I mean, there's a wealth of comic book versions of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that they could do as well. Now, let's start with the easiest, and that is redecos of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers with green power. So literally, this is just the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers redecoed into green versions of themselves. That's literally it. In the comic books, essentially, they used the Green Ranger's power coin in order to help them morph. That was it. Simple as that. So we can get a green version of Red Ranger, green version of Black Ranger, etc., etc., etc. 2 other redeco sets that would be amazing to have are the Ranger teams that are essentially color swaps. Now, the Rangers, as seen in the planet Breel, have male yellow in Jason, male pink in Zach, and another Black Ranger, but this time as Billy. Also, it has a female Blue Ranger in Kimberly with a skirt, and a female Red Ranger without a skirt in Trini. All of which, essentially, they can just recast them and swap color. You know what, though? I would love to see Trini with a shorter cropped hair, just like in the issues in Breel. If you want to make it slightly tougher, the 1969 Rangers also essentially color swaps, but they have slight differences with the gloves and boots. They're a little bit open on one side. There's a female Red Ranger with a skirt, which is Grace, and a Black Ranger without a skirt, which is Jamie, and the rest of the Rangers are male. Now, what they could do is they could make Nikolai the Blue Ranger slightly bigger, with a bigger physique and more muscular as he is in the comic book, to differentiate him from Billy's Ranger form. My only worry is that Hasbro kind of tends to skip head sculpts on occasion. I mean, so far, we didn't get a head sculpt for Magna Defender, we didn't have a head sculpt for Ranger Slayer, and We're not getting a head sculpt, it looks like, for the A Squad Blue Ranger from SPD. So I have this weird feeling that if they do 1969, they might skip the head sculpts as well. I hope they don't. I really hope they don't, because I love those characters, and I would love head sculpts of Grace, Nikolai, Jamie, Torona, and Daniel, who happens to be the Pink Ranger. Now, let's up the difficulty level a bit, okay? So far, I've only mentioned comic book redecos for the bodies, and only challenges would be head sculpts. A little bit more of a challenge would be the all-new Power Rangers from Power Rangers Pink, because they have a little bit of different aesthetic from the regular Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. But there are still other fun figures we could see with more souped-up designs, such as the Sentries. Lord Draken's Sentries are excellent to be seen in the Lightning Collection line because they tick several boxes. 1. They're iconic evergreen Mighty Morphin, essentially. 2. They're armored figures, and we all know how there are toys in the past that have always gone for armored variants, regardless of accuracy. Accuracy just went out the window so that we could have armored variants of characters, but at least this time, number 3, these are accurate to something. So these are armored up versions of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and the only Mighty Morphin Power Ranger that doesn't have one in the core set is Blue. 4, if they are kept in singles, it would be fantastic to army build. I really hope they don't make it a 2, 3, 5, whatever pack, because it's so much harder to army build when you're not dealing with singles. So the Putty Patroller that we got in Wave 6, which is a Z Putty, is great because we can army build that with no problem. We can do that on a budget even. Another thing I would like would be to see civilian heads on some of them. Like, for example, the Black Ranger could have an Atom head, and the Red Ranger could be, Red Sentry rather, could have a Skull head. On another note, other color sentries could also be done who are not Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So I'm kind of digressing here, but bear with me. Zeo Green, Jungle Fury White, Space Silver, Dino Charge Gold, Samurai Blue. Those are characters that we could also see get sentry forms from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic. Another Ranger of the Mighty Morphin label that would be excellent to see would be the new Mighty Morphin Green Ranger from the final Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comic book, issue number 55, leading into Mighty Morphin number 1. While it takes some design cues from the Bat and the Sun version, it's not the same. It's its own version with some additional armor padding and a sharp curved dragon dagger. Now, the Mighty Morphin team isn't limited to 7 colors in the comics though, as Bulk and Skull have also made appearances as purple and orange Rangers. Once in the comic book, another in Heroes of the Grid, and several times in the covers. Of course, these two would require entirely new base bodies, as Bulk is a heavy-built guy and Skull is very lanky compared to the other Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Billy also has his own armored suit that could totally be its own figure, though I don't really see that as happening just yet, because I see a lot of other figures getting their own figures before I see that happening. There are other Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. There are other Power Rangers in the Power Rangers comic universe, such as the Solar Rangers and Omega Rangers, but I wanted to focus on the ones that they could still make and attach the Mighty Morphin logo to. But then again, technically the Solar Rangers and the Omega Rangers have the Mighty Morphin logo attached to them as well, so they might do that. I have no doubt that they're gonna eventually come out with those. I mean, if they come out in the game, if they come out in other media, I feel like the toys will also be fair game. But I may not have included everything, so shout out below in the comments which Mighty Morphin Rangers you would like to see in the line moving forward. Could be an anchor figure, it could be just randomly inserted, it could be an exclusive, I don't know. It's up to you. Follow me at xpaco on Twitter and my team at Ranger Wiki. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more Power Rangers and toy commentaries. Till next time, this has been X's Toy Universe.